Adam,
Hello.
and today I want to. First of all, I seen shoot um, How to Train a
You watched
Dragon.
something. There you go.
Huh?
You got it. I said you got it.
Yeah. You ever see that Beetlejuice video? You know Beetlejuice from Howard
No,
Stern.
which one?
Yeah,
No.
where there's this dude that's like got this speech impediment, a stutter, and he's and he's asking the dude a question, and the guy's sitting there. He's like, he can't get it out. It's Beetlejuice's friend, and Beetlejuice is going, "You got it, you got it. Come on, you got it." I could sit
I'll
and
have to
watch
check that out.
Beetlejuice
I've never
videos
seen
on
that.
TikTok all day.
Yeah.
Beetlejuice is a
Huh.
man that should be rich.
Well, awesome.
Anyways,
Tell us about How to Train Your Dragon.
we'll talk about How to Train Your Dragon. I want to talk about John Kreese incident. Also,
Mm-hmm.
uh, I'd like to talk about Lobo a little bit. Um, what's on your docket
Sure.
today, Adam?
Well, tie into Lobo with Superman because I do want to talk about a couple of things that I've been seeing with that. I've seen a couple of trailers for some new movies coming out, so I really want to check that out or talk about that. Mainly The Strangers 2 or Strangers Chapter 2 and Weapons, which looks interesting. So I do want to talk about those real quick. So I mean that's just kind of a couple of things that we can chat about, and we'll go off on tangents from there.
Sounds good. Well, I watched How to Train a Dragon, and you know how all these Disney movies are shit and trying to
Yeah.
uh, trying to push a narrative and everything. And this one was a pleasant surprise. It Toothless looked exactly like it did in the cartoon, but
Mm-hmm.
still, it was actually really fun. And Gerard Butler and Nick Frost are like the best parts of that
Mm-hmm.
movie. Gerard Butler's like his dad, and he's a complete dick. As if if you watch the like in the beginning, if you watch How to Train Your Dragon, and it's just good to
He
see
did the
Nick
voice in the
Frost.
cartoon, though, didn't he?
Huh?
Didn't Gerard Butler do the voice in the cartoon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, but uh, also, who's this Julian Dennison kid? He just keeps showing up everywhere. So he's the kid that was the little mutant in Deadpool 2, Deadpool 2.
Okay. Yeah.
He keeps showing up everywhere, and like the way he looks, I thought just like his appearance was a joke. Not to make fun of anybody's appearance, but he's does tend to be, and he's a great actor. He does tend to be the butt of the joke a lot of times
What
in these movies. And
is he the one? Did he play Belschnickel in Christmas Chronicles 2?
uh
Wasn't he? Well, he was Belschnickel, I think.
maybe, yeah.
Sorry.
And it just
Okay.
seems to me like just because of his appearance, though, I just think it's interesting. Like he's always the comedy character because of his appearance. They have to like
Mm-hmm.
always make the funny fat guy.
Yeah, they make some fat jokes about him.
Yeah, and not that he was. Well, they didn't really make any innate fat jokes about him. It's just that look how funny he looks. Look, he's doing crazy stuff because he looks zany.
He has an interesting body shape.
He does, and face. Uh,
Yeah.
not gonna lie, but he's richer than me and much younger, so good on him.
Yeah.
I can't talk
Congratulations,
crap
guy.
about him, but
You
yeah,
found your niche. You
but
so that's the thing in Hollywood. You have to be like fat, humorous, and entertaining for a short time until you kind of make a name for yourself. Then you can lose a bunch of weight and you're still getting parts. Doesn't matter.
right,
Like Rebel Wilson.
right.
She looks good. She looks good right now.
She does. She does. Is she still a virgin?
Is that a thing? I don't know.
Yeah, that was a thing. Like she was a
I don't
virgin.
follow her though. Oh, probably not anymore. I mean, she looks pretty good.
Uh, yeah, she does. She because she when she's bigger, she just looks really weird. It does like it doesn't look
Yeah.
like a real person. Not that they're not real people. You know, we're gonna get canceled because I can't keep my mouth shut. But
Yeah.
like when some of these people, and I'm a bigger guy, but some of these people when they're bigger, they just don't look real. It's really odd. But
Yeah.
she is a beautiful woman.
She is. She's Rebel Wilson's gorgeous, and like she was always very pretty. You know, she
Yeah,
was.
she's pretty and
But
she's funny.
it was funny though. Like if you watch Pitch Perfect, which admittedly I've seen more times than I wanted to. If you watch Pitch Perfect, like she's kind of like the butt of the joke, like that she's overweight, but like at the same time, she's like always got guys coming for her and stuff. Like it was interesting that they played it as like she was a very sexually prominent woman in the movie.
Yeah.
Like she was the one that was getting all the guys. It's interesting that they played that part with her. I
Hmm.
thought it was fun and it was clever though too. To not make her like, oh, we're making fat jokes, she's a loser. It was like, nah, she's pretty cool. She's the cool one.
Yeah. And the thing about what I noticed about How to Train a Dragon is I'm so used to movies like going places, like traveling to places. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
there seems to be a lot of movies
Yeah.
where they're traveling or road tripping or something, like even in a small part of the movie. And this movie stays kind of central, right? Um, you know,
Mm-hmm.
even Harry Potter, it's like, okay, there's a lot of rooms and stuff to explore. And so that's one thing. It's like I'm not used to a movie just kind of staying central in one place um,
Yeah.
for, hour and a half or whatever. So I don't know if that's just me. Maybe that's just something stupid I'm coming up with. But I feel like most movies, you're not just looking at the same environment the whole time.
Yeah.
I guess that's what I'm
Well,
getting to is like,
so in How to Train Your Yeah, I gotcha. But like How to Train Your Dragon is a DreamWorks movie too. So it's interesting. I'm just because I haven't seen it yet, but looking up the cast of characters, I've seen the original, obviously the cartoon, but looking up like the cast and everything, if you notice, the big thing that they did differently from Disney was they didn't go woke with it, and they kept the characters looking like they did in the original cartoon.
no, they made it like
Um,
they made it like the
I don't.
cartoon, which is what you want, right?
Right. Yeah, they did it. They did it in a way that looks like it was very good. I mean, it's got what did I see? 8.1 on IMDb, which is really good for a remake from an animated movie or like a live action version of it. Very good rating for it. So, um, but I think that maybe Disney could learn something from How to Train Your Dragon, just in like
Oh, they
keeping
won't learn
it
shit.
with the original. They're not going to. They're not going to do shit, even though their
Because
box office keeps flopping left and right.
what they'll do is they start to do stuff, they'll start to learn, and then they'll fall back down. Like, let's see if we what we can get away with, because they're definitely trying to get away with something. But that is what we're asking for. That is what we're
Hmm.
asking. I don't know why my stuff's echoing all of a sudden. Sorry. That is what we're asking for in like our comic book movies. We're asking for it to
Yeah.
be accurate. You know, um,
And
I forgot.
so just for comparison, sorry, go ahead.
Well, I mean, even in our comic books, I also want movies to be, or I want things to be consistent. Like, I completely forgot after 50 years or whatever, Iceman's gay. Because,
Oh
like, I
yeah.
don't know, like, what, 2016? He came out or something like that? It's like, he
Yeah.
wasn't gay for like 50 years or what, several years, 40 years, whenever he was first
I
created.
love that. I
And,
love that comic panel though.
yeah.
Did Have you ever seen that where Jean Grey calls him out?
Uh huh.
That's so funny. She's just sitting there, and she's like telling him like, yeah, you're probably gay, and he's like, well, they say everybody's a little gay, and she's like, no, like you're real gay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he is, you know, does look like he's flying around or sliding around naked, but
Yeah.
uh, if he's in the ice form, but it's just like again, you can make a gay character, and you don't have to tokenize one character, or you don't have to change a character that already exists, like they try to
Mm-hmm.
do with what's her name, Riri Williams, and the new Ironheart. Like, just
Ugh.
make your stuff consistent. You can put that same character in new stories. If you want to make an alternate universe one gay, okay, you know. And yeah, there are people that do, stay in the closet for a long time because they're not comfortable coming out, and that's a very personal thing. Understood. Uh, and there are people, especially these days, when boomers, coming out in their 60s and 70s after a lifetime of having to hide it in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, 2000s.
That's true.
So that is a thing. Okay, I get it. It's just I don't know. It's just really
Yeah.
odd in comic books.
Yes, I get it, and to be honest, I have no desire to watch Ironheart. Like absolutely zero. Nobody's said any good things about it at this point, so I'm just kind of whatever. Um, but the other side, so I mean,
Is
if
it
you want
even
to look
out?
at comparison, I think it is. I don't know. People have been
Mm-hmm.
not rating it real well.
Well, that was
But if you want to look at comparisons, sorry,
it
what was
comes
that?
out June 24th. Oh, it came out yesterday.
June 24th. Okay, so that's what I've only been seeing stuff in the past couple of days, so that must be where it's coming from. Um,
Let me see here. There's
but
a
yeah, so,
lot of one stars on Google, but there's just as many
uh
five
huh.
star. It
Hmm.
is getting a 69% critics and 67% audience. So either
Hmm.
Disney and Rotten Tomatoes are trying not to let people bomb it, or it's average. Which I can
Yeah,
see it being average.
it's Iron Man Light. That's what they're doing. They're doing Iron Man Light, and it's not. I'm not buying into it. Like, create different characters. Like, how many characters are there in the MCU total? Thousands. There's thousands of characters that you could do stuff with. What they wanted to do was make an ethnic Iron Man. That's what they wanted to do.
But they did the same thing with
And
Ghost.
yeah, well, and they did
With
the
that,
same thing in Black Panther too. They just made a bunch of like Iron Man suits, and it's like it. The appeal of Iron Man was that Tony Stark was the only person smart enough to be able to make the Iron Man suit. Now, when anybody can basically make it, and including an MIT graduate, or not even a graduate, an MIT dropout, that can make an
well,
Iron Man suit, it stops becoming special,
the
right?
technology's been out there for 16 years, though. I think people can get a hold of I think the stuff gets out there. So
So
after
Whiplash
16
made
years,
sense.
I would think, okay, somebody else can maybe find the suit, because that's what happens over time, right? Like technology comes out.
Mhm.
Actually, if you look at old videos of like technology in like the early 1900s, it's like they had electric
Mhm.
cars, and they had like automatic potato peelers and a bunch of crazy stuff, but it's like it seems like they did not go through with that because they couldn't make money off of it, right? Kind of like that light bulb that never goes out.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
we actually went backwards in time with technology.
yeah. I mean, I guess, and when you look at the movie, so Warmonger got his arc reactor from stealing it from Tony Stark, obviously. Warmonger's dad or something worked on a similar thing with Tony Stark's dad, if I remember the movie correctly. So he was able to like he had plans so that he could build it. That all made sense where like they had their suits. The part that I can't suspend the disbelief on is the again it's the girl who goes to MIT like, oh, I'm such a genius and all that, and I'm gonna make my own Iron Man suit. Again, I feel like it's something that like 1 in a billion people can do,
Well, she
but they make it seem like it was
well,
simple.
the thing is, she also comes from Wakanda, so it actually starts in Wakanda.
Hmm.
So
I don't know too much
Wakanda's
about the
technology
character.
is above Tony Stark's.
Hmm. That's true. Vibranium has been shown to be a energy source.
I don't know if the suit's from Wakanda, but
Hmm.
looking at the preview, because I looked at it like today or yesterday, just because maybe I'll check it out. Because I did like Miss Marvel, I will admit that. Um,
Hmm. I
but
liked Miss Marvel.
the I watched the preview and she talked about that she like I don't know if she like interned in Wakanda or something like that. I don't know, but she's hanging out with Shuri, who's a genius, one of the top now, one of the top geniuses in the Marvel universe. Probably a top
Yeah.
15 if you're looking at geniuses, the way they're supposed to be. But she's probably one of the top now
Right.
because of because you got like Hank Pym, you got Tony Stark, you got now uh, Mr. Fantastic, uh,
Hmm.
so like she probably learned something from Shuri too. So I don't know exactly what the story is, but yeah, it's like they don't need to create that story. Maybe they can. I don't know, but it's like, can she do something else with technology? Does she have to make a suit? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
does it have
It's
to be the
just
same thing?
they right. It's the diversity of characters.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they
Because we already got Iron Man
it's the
or
same complaint.
War Machine too. Like we already got enough Iron Men.
Right. Right. Now the two girls, the two Okoye and who's the other one in Black Panther 2, they got Iron Man suits, like Iron Man warrior suits or something. But it's we've talked about this before on the show, and it's the biggest problem is that you have so many characters that you can play with, that you can do new things with, that like they're hiding behind what might be familiar to people. Um, you don't have to make, you don't have to swap races for the characters. You don't have to make Superman black. You don't have to make, do this. You have so many diverse characters that you can play with and you can do so many fun things with. And I think they're getting scared to try something new. I think they're scared to try something new. If that's, I mean, that's my
Oh
honest
yeah,
opinion. They could,
that's a big thing, especially when they're bringing back Chris Evans but Chris Evans makes sense to
mhm.
bring back. But they're bringing back Tony
Yes.
Stark or Robert Downey Jr.
Hmm.
It makes sense.
And yeah, and I mean like that's but you also look at some of the stuff they've done that's been new and different, and it's I'm not gonna say box office wise it's been successful, but as a movie they've been better. I mean, look at Deadpool and Wolverine. Um, that movie was extremely successful. It was something very different than anything Marvel had done before. Um,
And they're
Same thing
working
with
on
um,
Wolverine and Hulk.
yeah, but same thing with what was the one that just came out? The New Avengers, whatever. Anyways,
Thunderbolts.
but like they've done some like yes, the Thunderbolts. Yeah, so they've done some good stuff, and it's been new, it's been different, and it's been more entertaining to watch. I mean, and I think I just saw something with Kevin Feige talking about like I think after like phase 6, they're going to reboot it all. So they're going to start over from scratch. So I heard
Yeah,
talks
that's
about
why I
that
think
like
they're
oh
not
once it
really
runs
gonna
out.
bring in like a new X Men. Like they're just
Yeah.
gonna bring in the Fox universe X Men.
I think they'll finish it off and then they'll start new things. They'll start Elseworlds stories.
That's what they should do at this point, or at least make some,
Yeah.
or they could start on a different universe, whatever. But I don't think people are going to react well to starting over either.
No. And I think that doing like an Elseworlds thing is probably the way they should go with it. And then like you can tie them together here and there, but you know, DC has been very successful with their Elseworlds movies. The Matt Reeves Batman that has no connection to the DCU or DCEU, well, that we
Oh,
know of
so
for the
boring.
DCU yet. But what? The Matt Reeves Batman was amazing. Great
It's pretty
movie.
boring.
Great movie. I liked it. It was a long
I
movie,
like it, but it's
but I
long and
liked the
boring.
detective side of it.
Right, it's long and boring.
They have some parts that drags. They have some parts that drag, but it was good. It was a very good movie. It was very well done. Um, but that's the thing is like, and they, I like that. One of the things with Arrowverse when it first came out is they said they didn't want to make that part of the DCEU so that directors had the freedom to tell their own stories, and they did good for some time. They started getting a little, but uh, I did like the ability for the directors to not have to tie things in and to say like, "Hey, we're doing our own thing. We're going to write our own stories," even though a lot of the stories are ripped from the comics. Arrow, unfortunately, took a lot of comics, or took a lot of stuff from Batman, um, but I do like it to be a little bit more independent like that. I think that giving a good director the freedom to write their story, to tell their story in the way that they think it should be done, can be good. I mean, that's why John Favreau, nobody had any faith in Iron Man. Nobody had any faith in that. They said, we're going to do this. They didn't know what would happen.
John
John
Favreau
Favreau,
should have
who's
ran the
an
whole universe
amazing
in the
director,
beginning.
he should have. And he's got such artistic talent. He's an amazing director. Um, and he brought something that everybody was like, this is going to be, well, we'll see how this goes. He took something and he built a universe out of it. Like I hope to God he's still getting royalties every time somebody says Iron Man because he made Disney probably billions of dollars with what he did. So
Yeah,
that you know again that's where I want to see like more directors have more stuff, and some of the directors who are coming out big right now, and this is going to tie into something else I want to talk about, but some of the directors who are coming out with movies right now, it's their first movie, are like hitting big. So I mentioned Weapons, a new movie coming out. The trailer released I think yesterday. It's done by it's made by the same guy who did Barbarian, Zach Cregan, I think is his name. He's one of the guys from The Whitest Kids You Know, which is amazing that he did a horror movie. So Barbarian was his first horror movie or first movie out of the box, and it was extremely successful. People loved it. It was very highly rated. And now he's got another movie coming out called Weapons, which looks interesting. It's about a classroom of kids that disappear overnight, and it's only kids from this one classroom. Nobody knows what's going on. The town's trying to figure out where their kids are, and it's this big mystery. And the teacher's kind of like trying to help figure it out. Josh Brolin's in it, and it looks creepy and weird. And I guess Zach Cregern said that it's going to be just. He said it's going to be bigger and weirder than Barbarian was. So that right there sells me on like how good this movie could probably be. But another one who kind of came out of the box was Jordan Peele, because he came out with God, what was that movie? Why am I drawing a blank on it?
we had Us.
Well, anyways, Jordan Peele's first movie that he did. It wasn't Us. It was.
Yeah, Us was the second
Oh my God!
one.
I,
Uh, Get
yeah,
Out.
Us was the second, which was great. Get Out. That was the one I'm thinking of. He did Get Out, which was an amazing movie, and I really liked it. And I mean, this is like giving like first time directors a chance. I think is creating better movies because they're going bigger, right? They're going bigger. They're going better. They're like, we're gonna put some quality into this because I'm trying to make my name. Versus you got people like J.J. Abrams, who's like, I'm just gonna recycle old ideas. I don't give a fuck. And the movies come out like not really that good. So I think giving new directors a chance to really show what they can do is always going to be more beneficial, and the stories are always going to be better. I mean, if you look at James Cameron, I think Terminator was one of the first movies he did. I don't think it was the first, but it was one of the first that he did. And that spawned a franchise beyond limits, comic books, 7 movies, I think now. And like, but that first movie was so amazing. And then he did even better with the second movie. But like giving those directors that chance, I think is somewhere that you can kind of like expand and like really create good content. And I'm just like, I know you want to go with what you know, and like these directors do a good job. Like, who doesn't want to work with Steven Spielberg? But give people a chance to like really show their artistic talent and what they can do. So I don't know. That's that's my take. That's my hot take right now.
Cool. That was hot.
It was very
Uh,
hot.
it looked like he had a couple of weird movies before then. Xenogenesis,
What? Who is this?
James Cameron, 1978. Xenogenesis,
I think
1980. Well,
Terminator was his breakout movie.
he did Escape from New York.
Was that before
Um,
Terminator?
yeah, it was 1981. I mean, that's what definitely
Interesting.
made him a household. Well,
Yeah.
I'd say probably Terminator 2 made him a household name. I mean, Terminator was big, but Terminator 2 was is unstoppable.
Yeah. And like I said, I think Terminator was like his big breakout role. Yeah, here, the Terminator was 1984. Piranha 2, The Spawning, was 1982. Nobody knows what that
Yeah,
is.
he did like 3 or 4
Xenogenesis
movies
was
before Terminator.
1978.
I don't know what
Yeah. Well,
Xeno
so he
whatever
wrote.
is. It
I'm
looks
sorry. He.
probably something I'll never see. Kind of interested in looking on
Yeah.
YouTube.
Well, he wrote Terminator.
I think I lost Adam. I think Adam disappeared. Wait, I
Drop
think he's
my
come back in.
my connection dropped me. I'm back.
Yeah.
I
Um.
didn't realize it. I was talking for like a couple more minutes, and then I was like, huh.
Yeah. Well, James Cameron and Gail Ann Hurd wrote Terminator, and but there's this thing that I think she actually did Matrix as well,
Hmm.
and Terminator was supposed to be a prequel to Matrix.
Oh, really?
There was
I could see
something.
that.
There was something crazy or this interview where she's talking. I don't know if it's her, but they talk about like it's the writer of Terminator, and Matrix was supposed to be its sequel, but the I don't know what didn't get approved or what. But then they made Terminator 2. Um,
Yeah. So there's a couple of movies um, that Terminator kind of spawned. So there's I don't know, I can't remember if this was like, I think this was just kind of a fan theory, but like Terminator is an alternate universe of the Alien vs Predator universe, um, where like instead of Cyberdyne taking over and the Terminators attacking, instead they continued to develop the Terminators, and they actually became the replicants that were in Blade Runner. And Blade Runner takes place in the same universe as Alien, and Alien Predator and everything. That's why the Terminator has fought the aliens and the Predators at one point. There's interesting stuff with like alternate universe with the Predator universe. It's interesting. Like there's a whole web of connections to include that there's a very obscure reference in a video game from
Oh yeah, that's interesting, Adam. We're having some technical difficulties here on Spit Take. Well, I look up directors. I just want to look up new directors. Oh, Bradley Cooper.
my bad. I keep dropping. I don't know what's going on right now.
Your
Um,
internet sucks.
God, it's the worst. AT and T is the worst. This is not a plug for AT and T. It's the worst. I wish
But
I
I've
had
seen
Xfinity
one
again.
video
It's
where
just
this woman's like, you can tell a lot about a guy if you ask him what his favorite director is. And she named off all these directors and what it
mm-hmm.
means to like these directors. I'm like, where's Sam Raimi at? And also,
Yeah.
another one. I don't know if she even mentioned M. Night Shyamalan. Well, it's like, Sam Raimi and M. Night would probably be like my top two, to tell you the truth. And Kevin Smith, of course. So I'd probably go with Sam Raimi, M. Night, and Kevin Smith.
Yeah.
Adam's having technical difficulties.
I'm thinking.
I'm waiting for him to come back in.
I'm trying to think.
Oh, there you are. Uh, but also, it's been so long since I've seen The Village, and he had a lot of good movies, but I think The Village was like the most underrated movie.
I
Uh,
like The Village.
M Night. I feel like that was so underrated, and I feel like that had the best twist. And like, unlike the first one, what was the first one?
Um, wasn't Science Sixth Sense.
The Fifth Sense, which had a great twist. It's like that movie's ruined because you already know what's going to happen. You know, it's kind of hard to watch that over again.
Yeah.
The Village, I feel like I watched that a couple times just because of the more psychological thriller of the whole thing. Um, Adrian Brody's character, who is that handicapped kid or dude, um, and what's his name's character. I mean, I think there's so many layers to The Village, and the gaslighting in that movie, especially to the townspeople, is just out of control. Uh, and I wish there were. Quite honestly, uh, M Night kind of like fell off after The Happening, even though he did Glass and a couple of those other movies. We keep losing at him. See, this is why I'm nervous talking because I'm like trying to make sure we keep Adam on here. I watched Trap recently, and it's like it wasn't that great. I watched Old, wasn't that great. Like I wasn't quite impressed. Uh, and I missed the classics, the Sixth Sense, Unbreakable, Signs, The Village, and then after that, it's eh, like there's not much else other than Glass was pretty
Mm-hmm.
good, but looks like he did this movie in 1992 called
I haven't
Playing with
watched.
Anger. Praying with Anger was a
Yeah, I
1992
haven't watched
movie by M. Night
Glass.
Shyamalan, where he wrote, produced, and directed it.
Hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah, I like M Night Shyamalan's movies. I think he gets a bad rep for just having like twists being the only thing he's got going for him. But I think some of his movies are actually really well done. But like you have your hook as a director.
Well,
You
that's
know,
what
it's
I'm
just
saying. Like
like
his first four movies were great, and they were well done. Unbreakable was a very good
mhm.
movie.
Yeah, Unbreakable. Um, I like The Sixth Sense. That was a good one.
And then you got
Damn it, my internet
Signs.
keeps going in and out, man.
Signs is probably The Village and Signs. I could probably watch every couple of years.
Yeah, I like The Village. I like Signs. I don't know. Like I said, I think M Night Shyamalan gets a bad rap, and it is what it is. You know, I think that he is a very talented director. I think there was a lot of pressure on him to create stuff that had twist on it. You know,
Yeah, he
maybe
was
I'm wrong,
probably
but
asked to
that's what
by the
I think.
studio. And
Yeah, it's quite possible. I mean, that's what I think probably happened was that he became. They expected him to do it.
mhm. And then of course Kevin Smith had all my '90s classics, but Sam Raimi. If it wasn't for Sam Raimi, we would not have the greatest franchise of all time. The number one best franchise,
Evil
number one
Dead.
best character, number one best uh, villains, I guess you can say. Thank Sam Raimi,
One of the first original
and
horror
he gave us
comedies.
Tobey Maguire's Spider Man, which is all time favorite. I think he did.
Yeah, no, of course. Spider Man was.
Oh,
I'm still here. Trying to figure out how I can fix my goddamn internet.
yeah,
Ugh.
you're in and out. There might need to be cutting on this one. I go ahead and clip
We can
here.
do that. We can do that.
No!
Oh, I'm back. We'll see how long that lasts.
Are you here?
I'm here now. For how long? We'll see.
Okay.
Normally the Wi-Fi hotspot works really well, but who knows?
So, you're going to be so jealous of me because I'm going to PopCon
Okay.
and I'm meeting another Ghostbuster, Egon, from the real Ghostbusters cartoon.
God, that's gonna be great.
He's also the Brain and Pinky and the Brain, Frank,
Mm-hmm.
and what's his name? That drama robot, I think he is in Futurama.
Sure. Oh, like the who's on all my circuits?
Yeah,
Calculon?
Calculon. That's
Yeah.
very underrated character. But
Yeah.
yeah, meeting all
I always
the
loved his
'80s
bits.
Ninja Turtles and April O'Neil and getting a photo with all of them.
That's cool. God, that sounds cool. I'm going
But
to a con on August 2nd or 3rd, I think. It's like a horror con. Can't remember the name of it.
I don't know. I feel like I'm talking to a retarded answering machine.
I don't know, man.
Are we gonna be able to finish?
I don't know. Maybe we got to wrap it up tonight, and next week I'm gonna have to figure this out a little bit more.
Okay, probably. All right. Well, Adam can't keep it up, you know. So
Hmm.
I'm very disappointed, unsatisfied.
Yep, that's what happens. Goddamn AT&T. Like I'm not that far from my Wi-Fi router. Like I'm maybe like 30 feet from my Wi-Fi router, and I'm getting shit.
Yeah.
Like yes, it's going through the house into my detached garage, but garbage, just fucking garbage.
Hmm. Well, so since we can't keep Adam on here, uh, you got anything to end with?
No, I had some things to talk about. We'll talk about it next week when I've got this whole thing sorted out.
All right. Well, enjoy your 20-minute episode of Spit Take to our followers, and Adam, take us out.
Oh, I'm about to lose connection. All right. Bye guys. Love you.
Level up, guys.